The bombing of Darwin was a major part of Australia's history, and it has made many impacts not just for Australia, but also for the rest of the world. The Japanese received a threat from the Australians and started the whole war. Many people were killed, many things were damaged, and the whole town had to rebuild from scratch and start all over again. There were many impacts that came from the bombing of Darwin. Many buildings were destroyed, many people were killed, and lots of damage was done to the city. There were two raids that happened, one starting at 10 a.m, and also 11:25 a.m. on the 19th of February 1942. Between the two raids, around 235 people were killed and another 500 were wounded or injured. Many buildings were destroyed, causing lots of damage to the city and also the harbour. Around 30 aircraft were destroyed. 9 of the aircraft were flying in defence. 11 ships were sunk or destroyed inside the harbour and outside the harbour. All this damage hurt the city of Darwin and had to rebuild from scratch. At the start of the Pacific War, the Japanese had received the threat from Australia, which caused them to attack Darwin. The Japanese Navy wanted to isolate parts of Australia, and specifically the northern parts of the country. They did this to isolate Australia from the British and American aid. The Japanese realised that Australia posed a threat, being an ally of America. The Japanese goal was to isolate Australia from the United States and make Australia under control from the Japanese. The Japanese decided to bomb the harbour, the town and the military, killing many people and doing lots of damage. Since the bombing, oil storage tunnels had been built under Stokes Hill, which were built after the Japanese attacked the city. They were built to protect the wartime oil of Australia's north coast. These were built to protect the oil storage if there were any further attacks or bombings of the city. The tunnels have a big symbol that they represent, and that is the symbol of dodging determination and willingness to try against the odds that characterise the defenders of the country. This is saying that Australia never gave up in the war, even if they were losing, and they had the determination to be able to win the war. They also had the mindset to protect the country and not let others invade the country. After the bombing of Darwin, many other Australian towns and cities were also attacked, some of these places being Townsville, Broome, Katherine and Port Hedland. The Japanese bombed all these places after they had bombed Darwin. Many cities and towns helped rebuild the city of Darwin. Also, other countries helped. They provided things such as food, resources to help rebuild, and also things to help people forget their traumatic and horrible experiences in the bombings. But nothing could help and heal the survivors of the bombings after what they had experienced, and that they will be living with that for the rest of their lives and not be able to get over it. Throughout Australia's history, many things have happened that have impacted and affected the country, but none as bad as the Darwin bombings. The Japanese not only bombed Darwin, but they bombed many more places in the country, causing a lot more damage to the rest of the country. People have been living with these traumatic experiences throughout their whole lives, and they will never get over the fact that they were the lucky ones, and that may have had some loved ones who may have not survived.